It is our quality time interview on Kansas Sports Chatter, an opportunity to spend a little extra time with our next guest, and that guest will be Brandy Paul, the head coach of the Beloit High School volleyball team. Coach, appreciate you coming on the show. And for you, I mean, this has got to be an exciting time of the year with, the postseason right around the corner, 20 plus matches under your belts. This has got to be a good time of the year for you as a volleyball coach.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. It's pretty exciting. Like I told you before, we've had some injuries and up and downs that we've dealt with all season also. And, yesterday was the first day that I had all my players back and we got to play a game. And so it was like preseason for me, post August again. So super excited and super excited to see what this team can do here coming into the postseason.
Well, I know unfortunately injuries are just a part of the sports and any type of sport, but for you, when you have to deal with those, like what is that process like? And just trying to figure out, or I guess refigure out what your strategy is going to be.
Yeah, it was difficult. This was actually the first time. I told you this is my 13th season as head coach, and this is the first time that I've ever had to deal with a injured player um, out for the season. I've had it, a few times that we've had to deal with sickness or maybe miss one game, but um, my player Brecken Boudreaux that you've heard of, she's been a starter for me for 4 years, been a big part of our program the last 4 years. And within the first hour of our first day of practice, she went up, hit a ball, just came down, and knew something didn't feel right. And found out later she had torn her meniscus. And so this was her senior year. So that was a bit heartbreaking for me as a coach to see that. You always hear about it, other teams having to deal with that. And you always, feel the heartbreak for kids that have to deal with that, especially their senior year. And we didn't know quite, what was to expect if she was going to make it back. And it ended up that they ended up just taking it out, so it put her out. This week was 5 weeks, so and she started kind of back to practice here about a week and a half ago, and has just progressed. But around that, we had to totally go different than what we had been preparing for, and we had played a lot of summer ball this summer, and so we just next girl up, and we had some freshmen that had helped us out this summer when we had girls gone, and she jumped into that role real quick and has done an amazing job and earned her a spot that necessarily she might have not have had before. So sometimes you think that's the plan, and maybe things happen for a reason, but it was difficult, but I was so proud of my team. They never looked down. They never, second guessed anything. They just rolled with my plan and jumped in and just never skipped a beat. And then the first tournament, we had a girl go down. My setter hit her, and she is a freshman, first game, and rolled her ankle and missed that tournament, the rest of the tournament, and came back the next week and played for us that week. And then about 2 weeks ago, she rolled her ankle again in PE, the same one, but it was pretty bad. It missed the last 11 games. So I was out again, but it was kind of good that we had that happen to us at the first tournament of the year, because we already knew right away we, rerouted what we were doing again. And so we were ready for that. And like I said, these girls, this team, they've already dealt with so much this season and haven't skipped a beat and have such a great attitude that it just gets me really excited. Um, we got both of them girls back yesterday for our first game. Monday was the first practice that we had everybody together and went with what we're planning on until we see that we need to change it. But um, it was really excited Monday at that practice. Like I said, it was like the first day of practice again, to have everybody back and put them in the roles that I wanted them at. Some things that I had seen with other two girls were gone that could benefit us uh, around all the rotations, and figured it out and put the pieces together. And we threw it in there Monday, practiced rotations, and then had a game yesterday. And I was pleased with it. I thought we looked real good, and we're just going to keep building on that. And super excited what this team can do. Um, just their attitudes and how they dealt with everything this season and their energy. It inspires me. So, this is my 13th year, and I'm as excited as I have ever been with any group of kids. So looking forward to what they can do and see how much better we can get in the next 3 weeks. So
Brandy Paul with Beloit Volleyball joining us here on the show. Like for you, especially like figuring out new rotations because like your schedule, like you go out and schedule because I mean you look at that competition
Yeah.
that you play with Beloit and some of the matches that you had already on the season, coach. Like for you as a coach, like I know some of it's going to be determined with your league opponents, but like what is going through your mind when you're trying to fill out a schedule for volleyball?
Oh yeah, we like to play tough competition because I know that'll benefit us in the end, win or lose. It lets us know where we're at and what we got to do to compete. And yeah, our toughest part of the season was without them girls. So that even gets me more excited because now we're throwing them back in, and then we have a great tournament this weekend in Concordia that has competition, um, high level competition. So it'll let me see what this rotation can do. But just seeing what these girls have done so far with the competition that we've played already gets me really excited of now what we can do with all of them back. But yeah, we like to have a tough schedule, um, win or lose, like I said, because that's we know in the end that will make us better in the long run. So um, we'll continue that and always try to get as many tough teams in the season that we can see.
Well, Beloit volleyball and what you've been able to accomplish has been really impressive, especially the consecutive league titles. And I know, like over time, like league titles have kind of changed as far as teams coming in and out of the league, and maybe some years in certain sports, you can't necessarily play everybody in your league. But for volleyball, how much does that mean to you to have that success year in and year out, just even at the league level?
Yeah, that's pretty special. How these girls have dominated the league, and especially because we always have a target on our back. It seems like our league teams always come out and play the best against us. Just last night, we we saw Southeast Saline, and the first game we played pretty well and handled them pretty well, and then the second game we started off really well, and then second set, we things just weren't going our way. They weren't dropping where we needed them to, and they beat us the second set, and then the third set was tight. And I think we were down 17-22, and it was just amazing to watch the girls stay calm and keep their composure. And we ended up winning 25-23. But yeah, definitely. And I had an interview this morning with the radio station here, and I didn't even think about it until he brought it up. It's been 3 years since we've lost a league game, and that last
Wow.
that last loss was to Southeast. He is like deja vu, but really was last night. I felt a little nervous. Thank goodness the girls, you didn't see that on them. They kept their composure and they have that confidence in themselves. So, but yeah, I'm proud of these girls. They take great pride in that. That's all on them. They work hard, um, so we can, be that successful in our league. And they put a lot of time and effort into this program. And so, I give them all the credit in the world.
Being a Beloit High School graduate and now going, like you said, your 13th year as head coach of the volleyball team, how much fun has it been being from Beloit and then having the success you've had at Beloit so far at volleyball?
Oh, it's a blast. And I was more of a basketball player in high school. So coming back and ended up coaching volleyball, I would have never guessed that if you would have asked me that 30 years ago. But um, I wouldn't change it for the world. I love the game. I came back and I was assistant for 7 years with my high school coach, and she had so much passion for the game and taught me so much about the game, and I just fell in love with it coaching. And I'm a big. I have a lot of Trojan pride, a lot of alumni, and Beloit was never really a volleyball school, so that was my goal. I remember our principal now, Casey Seifert. I remember he was the athletic director when I started in my first year. I only won 10 games, um, and he told me, "Well, that was better from the year before because we only won 9." And I was thinking, no, I wasn't satisfied. He's like, and he told me it takes at least 5 years to turn around a program. And I was like, no, I can't take 5 years. I don't want it to take 5 years. So, but the hard work and dedication from the get go of the kids that helped me build this program I give them, like I said, I give these players and their parents and our community all the credit, because without that support, we would never be where we're at now. They put a lot of time and effort, money into, playing in the winter, playing in the summer. We play a lot of summer ball, and without that support coming from everybody around, we wouldn't be able to build such a successful program. And our administration is great with all the support they give us. In Beloit, we take great pride in our school system and in our sports, and we get that from our administration and from the community. So, um, I give them all the credit with building this program, and it's been a joy to see it.
Well, you mentioned being a basketball player and kind of more on that basketball side. What made you want to make that switch to volleyball full time? Was there a certain moment you're like,
Well,
okay, I'm going to stay with volleyball?
the job was open,
Okay.
and they asked me to be assistant coach, and from there on, I fell in love with it, and like I said, I wouldn't change it. I love the game, and I love the challenge of the game. And some people don't realize really how much there is to volleyball. Um, and I love that there's really a lot of technique to it, and figuring out different rotations and who needs to be by each other, and coming up with strategies to beat other teams. And a lot of people don't realize that, and they just think it's bump set, spike, get the ball over. But there's a lot of strategy to the game, and I enjoy that challenge. I've always been competitive, and so um, I fell in love with it. And yeah, I wouldn't change it now.
Hey, coach, appreciate your time and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
That is Brandy Paul, the head coach of the Beloit Trojans volleyball team. That'll do it for our quality time interview.